Hello my lovely, and welcome to another tutorial on my channel. I'm Annie Eclectic, and in this one we are going to create a snake fidget pendant. So the pendant that we're going to make today is going to be very slightly different. It's going to have a very slightly different tip to it, but I will show you how to create it like this rather than what we're going to do in today's tutorial. This is really good for a beginner, super simple, super easy, and you don't really need many tools for it. So we need 2 pieces of wire, and you're going to need a crystal of some sort. I am choosing to use a Red Garnet, and I'm using quite a small one. So I'm probably going to pick this one here. That was the one that's calling to me. I've been working a lot with... Oh no, I've lost it. Let's go for this one. I've been working quite a lot with Red Garnet recently. It's a really wonderful, vibrant crystal. It's the January birthstone, which is one of the reasons why I've kind of been working with it quite closely through January. But it's a great one for this time of year when you're just feeling a bit and you need that kind of boost of vitality and energy. And it's really good for bringing out your passion and your creativity, but also keeping you really grounded as well. So it's a really fantastic one to take you through the winter, because I think we all know that winter can be a little bit challenging sometimes. You need 2 pieces of wire. I've got this one, which is a 0.6 mil, and it's around 12 centimeters long, and it's just a guesstimation, that, so we'll see how much is left over at the end, I suppose. And then I've pre-cut this one, and that one is around 26-27 centimeters. It's a little bit generous, but you are always better off having more than less for your creation. Okay, so let's get started. What you want to do is you're going to take this one and you're just going to bring those ends together, so you're kind of finding your halfway point. I'm just going to move this out of the way a little bit so that we're not getting too clouded. This wire is a square 0.8 mil. And on this pendant here, I've used a 1 mil. I wouldn't go below a 0.8. And I'm just using this because I like the look of it, but you can absolutely, totally easily do it with round wire, because I know that square is not readily available in a lot of places. Okay, so what we've done there is we have just kind of brought the ends together, and then we're folding it. And then the reason that the end is going to be a bit different is because I'm going to keep this twist here. So I just want to kind of bring that together very gently, like this. So you've just got that there. Now, if you were going to do an end like this one, at this stage, what you would do is you would push it to this point, and then you would start to kind of push it back inwards like this to separate it out again. But I don't want to do that, so I'm not going to. And then at this point, I'm going to use my 6-step bill maker, but you can quite easily do this with round nose pliers, so probably right up here where you've got like the largest round bit, or you could use a round chopstick, a pencil, anything like that. And I'm just going to kind of have a bit of a, I think this one here. So I'm going to use a 1, 2, 3, 4th step on my 6-stepper. And we're just going to very gently take hold. I hope you can see this. And we're going to just sit it right there on top of the next step. Try and get a really good grip on it. Just gently bring that round. So it's like this. And then I'm going to switch it round and do the same. Bring that around there. So you've got that kind kind of petally teardrop shape. Okay, and then at this stage, what I'm going to do, and you do not need to do this, but I like the way that it kind of adds to the look. I'm going to hammer it. I'm just going to grab some padding, because otherwise the sound just resounds around the house. It just gets quite loud. So we're just going to give it a there we go. And there's a couple of reasons for this. I like the texture that the hammering produces, but it also hardens the wire, so it means that it's more likely to keep the shape. And if you're using like a soft or a dead soft wire, you really want to do this. You can use like a nylon mallet or a chasing hammer. I just have this super cutie. I just love it. It feels like a miniature set. And there we go. Okay, and then we want to find kind of the halfway point and start to just bring this up and start shaping the tail. It's not focusing. Let me just move this out of the way. So we're starting to shape the tail there. This can take a bit of practice. I always find it hard to get my pliers in the right place for finding the halfway. And of course you can always just kind of pull it out very slightly, just like that. Yay, fabulous. Okay, and then what I will do at this point is just start to kind of take some of the curve out of the wire there, so we can start to bring this up. But we're not going to join it. We're not going to join anything right now, because the next stage is putting this in, and we need some room to kind of to work it. So we're now moving on to doing this part with the fidget. I absolutely love adding fidget into my jewelry. It's amazing. You know, it kind of next levels your jewelry. It takes it from just being beautiful to functional as well. It's so good for like stress relief. You know, when you just need to have a fidget, if you're a pen clicker or a nail biter or anything like that, fidget jewelry is so good. And it's really good for bringing concentration and focus as well. Like great for stimming, so you know, like a sensory stimulation piece. It just brings that kind of practical level to something really quite beautiful as well, and combining that with, you know, the metaphysical properties of the red garnet, and then there's the symbolism of the snake. Like I love this piece. Okay, so I've just posted this through underneath. I'm just going to fold this end over, so I've got like what, about just over an inch there, so we've got a bit of a fold there, and we're going to work upwards, so we're going to be coiling upwards here. So I'm going to post it through, that's why we haven't joined anything, just to give you like a greater amount of access. Some people will love that, and others like me will probably prefer to do like coiling the wire so it finds its shape. Just had to very quickly go and get a plaster because I hurt myself. Be careful out there, guys, when you're playing with wire. Okay, so we're going to start coiling. And what I'm doing is I'm anchoring it by holding on to this here. What we will do is we'll bring it around so it goes straight across, but right now you just want to anchor it and hold it in place. And then I'm going to start actually shaping the wire into a coil to go around the wire. Let's get that in place. And I'm just going to use my trusty pliers, because what are tools for? And we're just going to coil up the shaft of the wire. If you've got a smaller gauged wire, this will be considerably easier. Because a 0.6 is just a little bit stiffer than like a 0.4 weaving wire. But this is kind of the look that I'm going for. Doesn't have to be the look that you're going for at all. Okay, and hopefully that's absolutely perfect and gets that end tucked right in the middle there. Yes, beautiful. Okay, and then to tighten that all up. There we go. Let's see. Okay, and then that's the other side. Now, you might want it to go under the other side, and have it crossing under, so you know wire wrapping that way. As you can see, it comes from underneath and over the top there. I don't want to do that, so I'm just gonna pull that through like this, and I'm just gonna grab my nylon pliers to kind of straighten that out a little bit. So I'm just gonna actually just pull it out completely, just give it a quick straighten. You can do this with a bit of cloth if you want to. You don't need fancy gear for any of this stuff really. And there we go, get that in position, and I'm going to put my garnet on. Well, I'm finding it a bit more difficult now that I've got a plaster on. Okay, and then just make sure that your crystal spins. And there we go. And then we're just going to do the same on the other side. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to coil, because that's the way that I prefer to do things. You do it exactly how you want to, but as you can see, having that freedom on the wire, not being closed at the top, not having done that stage first, really helps. Kind of settle right in. Try and make sure that you're doing your coil as level as possible. You know, you're not going to get everything absolutely perfect, and that's fine, because you know, who wants to be perfect, eh? Perfect is a little bit boring, isn't it? I'm just going to kind of tease that round, make it a bit tighter, and bring that together. And I want it to sit a little bit further up there. Yeah, perfect. And then I'm just going to coil around from there. So we've talked about fidget jewellery, and we've talked about the garnet and all the lovely properties of the garnet. So what's the symbolism of a snake? Do you like snakes? Are snakes something that you feel drawn to? I'd hope so. If this is kind of a piece that you're bringing, I know that it's going to divide people, because snakes are quite often ridiculed in this world, aren't they? But they are kind of regarded in different ways across, you know, different cultures and stuff. But really, a lot of it comes down to kind of the symbolism of them shedding their skin, and in some cultures it's about rebirth and renewal, kind of that transformational energy, which is really cool. If you do yoga, you probably heard of like Kalundi yoga, and the Kalundi snake sits within your root, and when you're at a place of transformation, and growth, then like the Kalundi snake starts to uncoil and release itself within your spiritual body, which is really interesting. And like, you know, snakes in some cultures are very kind of revered as being for health and healing and regeneration and stuff, and that again, that kind of harks back to the shedding of the skin and the regrowth and all of that, which is really interesting. They're also quite strongly associated with wisdom and intuition. Keeps slipping back down. Can I slide that back up a little bit? There we go. Just make sure that you're continuously kind of adjusting and making sure things are in the right place for you. Yeah, so wisdom and intuition, and that's because like a snake, it like has quite a purposeful, like, not gait because it doesn't walk, but you know, they move with purpose, don't they? And like people who have that kind of wisdom and connect with their intuition like very strongly, they kind of have that kind of just confidence in what they're doing, don't they? Which is just a really beautiful thing to see. And snakes definitely do that, don't they? They definitely have that very confident. So, you know, I think the symbolism of a snake can be that of confidence and courage and having a kind of an intuition of otherworldliness. I just think it's very interesting. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coils on that side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on that side. So really, we want this side to be a little bit further up, don't we? I don't want to break my nails. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to do a little bit of a wrap around the bottom there, just to pull the wires together. If you're using a thicker wire, so like on this one, I haven't done that, and I've just done a very, very simple 3 coil wrap in this section here. So if you're doing one of these and you really just want to make it a bit simpler, all you have to do is just do the 3 coils on one side, post your crystal through, 3 coils on the other side. Make sure that you've got your ends tucked into the middle, clamp them as tightly as possible, and that bit's done. Really quickly, really easy, good for beginners doing that one. This is it's a little bit more difficult. It's just a little bit more involved, isn't it? Okay, so we're just going to tighten that bit a little bit here. I know it's not perfect, and that's totally fine. As a recovering perfectionist, I'm going to allow myself to say that's fine. Nothing is perfect. And I think I want to do, how many of those do I want to do? Yeah, I'm happy to leave it at that. I like to do spirals on most things, but actually on this one I think I'm just going to give it a snip with my cutters and flatten that down. Make it nice and tight. If you look at it and you think it's got like a bit of a spiky end, make sure that you sand it down, because obviously this is going to be against clothing, against skin. You want to make sure that you're being as aware of the peopleness of the wearers as possible. So here we go. How lovely is that? And fidget, fidget, fidget. Beautiful. Okay, so we're like home run now, aren't we? And we're just going to kind of bring that together and get the hammer out again. If you don't have a hammer, that's fine. You don't need a hammer. This is just what I like to do. I'm just going to hold that against there. Okay. There we go. Right, put that back to one side. And then I like to shape these by hand. You could very easily do it where you're shaping it like around something. I personally prefer that kind of natural look. I'm just gonna start just bending it with my fingers. Try and get that snaky wiggle in it. You don't need many wiggles. I think it's quite apparent what it's going to be. How many bends have we got there? Is that enough of a bend? I think one more. I quite like this pendant. It's quite a long one. Like it's very simple, but it's quite a statement, isn't it? Okay, how's that? What do we think? I love that. I'm so sorry about this plaster. I'm really upset about that. There we go. Right. Okay, and then we're on to the bail. So the bail is this part where we put it onto a cord or a necklace or something like that. I'm just going to do a really simple one. Nice and easy, trying to keep everything as, you know, simple and easy as possible. Make sure this is a nice, easy beginner piece. Okay, so this is where I want my bail to be. I'm going to bend it forwards about 45 degrees. You see I've bent that forwards there and got that angle. And then I want to use this stepper. This is the step that I used for here, and I like that consistency. So I've moved it so that I've got the shaft bit here, and I'm just going to pull it down and round like this. And then from there, you see I've got these two. I'm going to separate them out like this. Just turn that round in my hand. So you see that I've separated those out and bring them forward. Okay, so you can see they've brought those forward around the snake here. Just pull that back together, and then I'm going to wrap around, see, and then do the same with this one. And it's just puts like a little gentle cross here. And then I'm going to wrap that round once more and pull that to the back. And I'm going to wrap this one round and pull that to the front, so we almost have a double cross. But you don't have to do that. That's kind of like a bit of an extra step that I do. I'm just going to tighten that because of the squareness. It does make it a little bit tricky. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to snip this one down and tuck it there. So let's take my snips. Remember, if you've got one of these that has like an angle in the middle but is a flush flat cutter, remember you want this bit where it's going to be on here, because then it gives it a flush cut. And always angle either away from yourself or put a finger over it, otherwise you can end up with wire in your eye. So we've got like a couple of centimeters there extra, so I think 26 centimeters, pretty good estimate for that. And then I'm just going to tuck that in. Might just have to pull that out the way slightly. There we go, and that's nicely tucked away there. Okay, and then I'm going to pull this back around. And the thing that I like about this design is that it can be double-sided, because I'm going to finish this with a swirl. If you've ever seen my work before, you know I love a swirl. I love the symbology of it. It kind of stands for the element of spirit, or the kind of the constant swirl of time, of cosmos, of the universe, whatever it is that you believe in. You know, the coil is something that we see so much in nature. It's that never-ending shape, isn't it? I think there's some kind of wonderful mathematical something, isn't there, about it? Just going to coil that. Twisty, twisty. And then there we go. And that, my lovely, is your pendant. So this can be the front, or it could be the back. Either way, they are absolutely beautiful. Of course, you can do this in any way that you want to. I would suggest a soft wire. I don't tend to work with dead soft. Half hard, possibly. Depends how strong you are. Anyway, I really hope that you enjoyed this, and whichever way you've made this, I hope that you have enjoyed your experience. Let me know if you have a go at it, and let me know if you have any other ideas of tutorials that you would like me to create. And with that, I hope that you find your glimmers, love them, hold them, and save them for later, and I will see you in the next tutorial with hopefully no plaster. Okay, bye-bye.